Hey guys, what's up? So I thought I'd just quickly talk about how this build works. There is a lot going on, so I'm going to try to break it down as best as I can. But yeah, so at a high level, this is a cold convert bow build. So we're going to be scaling things like physical damage, cold damage, crit chance, crit multi, elemental damage, cold penetration, that kind of stuff. And for clear, we're going to be using a rain of arrows. And then for single target, we're going to use rain of arrows plus a siege ballista. Ideally, you have both of these in a 6-link, but I only have rain of arrows in a 6-link here and siege ballista in a 5-link because I'm SSF, but you get the idea. So there are a couple of interesting ways that we scale damage. The first is using perseverance on a champion. So perseverance gives you 1% increased attack damage per 200 of your lowest of armor and evasion. So as a champion running determination and grace and having a bunch of armor and evasion giving nodes in the tree, we can basically stack, you can see here I have 27k armor and 28k evasion. And this translates to 82% phys mitigation and 77 without flasks. And then if I pop my flasks here, you can see that I now have 42k armor and 36k evasion rating. So that's pretty cool. It's a lot of defense. And then, of course, since we're getting 1% increased attack damage per the lowest of these, if I don't have flasks, we're getting like 140% bonus attack damage. And then if I have flasks, that number goes up to 180% increased attack damage. So that's one way that we scale damage. And then also, of course, since we're champion, we're always going to be fortified. So we're always going to have onslaught. And then the second way that we scale damage, that's kind of weird, is using the new blessing gem, this divine blessing thing here. So basically what this does is it turns one of your auras into like a spell that you can cast using mana, and it has a base duration of 10 seconds. So as you can see here, I have blessing here. So as you guys can see, I have hatred here as my blessing. And if I cast this, I get hatred that lasts for 20 seconds because we're going to be linking it to increased duration. And then since I have lifetap as well, it's going to cost life instead of mana. So we can just cast hatred from our life, and that gives us the full aura effect. And then we're going to be combining that with the champion ascendancy node first to strike last to fall, which allows you to gain adrenaline for 20 seconds when you reach low life. So basically the whole gimmick of this build is if you can keep your total life pool lower than or equal to double the cost of your hatred blessing, you can pop hatred and instantly get adrenaline, which lasts for 20 seconds, which is conveniently exactly the same duration as your blessing if you link it to increased duration. So basically, as soon as we pop our blessing, not only do we get hatred for free, but we also get adrenaline, which gives us 100% increased attack damage, 25% increased attack, cast, and movement speed, and then 10% physical damage reduction. Actually, it gives 100% increased all damage, not just attack damage. So that's pretty powerful just to be able to have that up at all times. And then if you run a instant life flask here, you can kind of just offset the damage. So like, as you can see here, if I pop my life flask immediately after activating my blessing like this, I basically didn't even lose any life at all. And I have perma hatred and I have perma adrenaline without even reserving hatred. So then we can basically have that up at all times, in addition to running Grace, Determination, Herald of Ice, Precision level 1, and Defiance banner. So that's pretty cool, right? It's pretty cool. It is kind of gimmicky because you do have to like do this every 20 seconds. Otherwise you lose like half of your damage, but it's not that bad, right? I just see it as like another flask that I have to press every 20 seconds. And as you can see here, if I have adrenaline and hatred up, my tooltip damage is like 69k. And then when it goes away, it's down to 34k. So it's a pretty substantial damage boost. It gives us like double damage. And I'm going to be linking the POB in the description of this video. but I think the overall damage comes out to be like 3 mil, roughly 3 mil. It's a bit tricky because I calculated damage using barrage instead of rain of arrows, and you could totally swap out rain of arrows for like a level 20 barrage to do single target, like if you want to do a boss or something, but I haven't done that myself. It is a bit tricky to calculate rain of arrows DPS in PoB. I'm not exactly sure how to do it, and I think it does vary depending on the target. Like if the target is really big, you're going to get a lot of overlaps, but if the enemy is like really, really small, then you're not going to get that many overlaps, so I'm not quite sure how to calculate that in PoB. I just have barrage in PoB just to like have a damage number that seems to make sense. But yeah, that's basically the build. It's kind of gimmicky. We're using perseverance, and then we're also using the hatred blessing low life trick to always be on pseudo low life to scale damage. And then apart from that, it's just your standard bow build. You want to be scaling elemental damage. You want a bow with really good PDPS. My bow here is not even that good. I think it's like 500 PDPS, but yeah, could be better. Cold exposure on the implicit here from the Eldritch implicits, cold penetration, area of effect, flat elemental damage, percent elemental damage, damage with bows, crit chance, crit multi. It's pretty standard apart from all of that. Oh, and then I also forgot to mention, it's also not too hard to get 100% spell suppression on this build, which I think is mandatory, because if you don't have 100% spell suppression, then you'll just randomly die to spells. So because our life is so low due to our hatred low life gimmick, I would really recommend getting 100% spell suppression, which is not terribly hard because you got this wheel here, and then you got this node here, Magebane, and then you got this wheel here as well to cap whatever you couldn't get on your gear. So yeah, that's basically the build. It is kind of gimmicky, but it's been really fun to play so far. Like I've been able to clear T16s pretty consistently with this build. My character is currently level 92. It's not even optimized. My bow is not even good. I don't even have a 6-link siege ballista. So this build definitely has more potential. But yeah, I think this build has been like a pretty cool little thing that I've gotten the chance to play this league. Another thing that I should probably mention is, so there is an alternate way of building this where you run a 6-link hatred, and the way that this would work is you would do something like hatred, increased duration, life tap, divine blessing, empower, efficacy, or something. And the main idea of linking efficacy and empower is just to increase the mana cost. Because if you can increase the mana cost of hatred, that allows you to get more life, right? Like the reason that I'm capped at 3k life is because my hatred blessing needs to remove half of my life. So by increasing the life cost of hatred, I can allow my character to have more life. So it's kind of weird. Like you could technically run a 6-link hatred and then just run like a 4-link siege ballista, maybe have like a helmet or a glove that gives you like socketed gems deal 30% more elemental damage, or some other weird gimmicky 4-link setup, and then put siege ballista in there and then run a 6-link blessing. You could do that, although you would also then lose 600 accuracy from the bow mastery. So you may have a little bit of a harder time capping accuracy. Might need to take another side node like acuity to give you more accuracy. But that's like another idea that I thought about. It seems like a pretty good idea. If you have empower as well, it's going to increase the damage that you get from hatred as well. So that's pretty good. Haven't really experimented with that myself since I don't have empower. And I just don't really, I don't know. I should probably experiment with it, but I'm kind of lazy. But yeah, that would be a good idea for this build to get a little bit more life and a little bit more damage. So yeah, I know I've been talking a lot, but yeah, this has basically been the build that I've been playing for the last couple days. I originally built this character to be like a T16 farmer, and it pretty much surpassed my expectations in terms of damage and survivability. And even though I'm running around with like 3k life, like it feels very, very tanky. Like, we have super high physical mitigation, we have super high evade chance, 100% spell suppression, fortify, chill from our cold damage, permanent onslaught. You know, we got phasing from the little nodes here. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I feel like against most enemies, I can just stand there and just tank everything. And then we have a little bit of leech as well from this node. So yeah, it's been a blast to play this build. I'll probably be playing it a little bit more, and then I might try to do a little bit more optimization to increase the single target damage. But yeah, that's it. That's it for now. Thanks for watching my video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I'll try to get to as many as I can, and yeah, bye.